Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Today I want to teach you about perimeter and area of 2D shapes. Perimeter represents the sum of all distance or all the sides around a shape, so you just need to add them. Whereas area represents how many square units I can put or that can fit inside this shape. So it has something to do with multiplication, like length, width, base, height. It's more about multiplication. So perimeter is more about addition, area is more about multiplication. So area is like the whole surface inside, whereas perimeter is just the sum of all sides. So let's start with a rectangle. Every rectangle has 4 sides. Every 2 opposite sides are congruent, so it has 2 lengths and 2 widths. So the area of a rectangle equals length times width. You can memorize it like a law. So if you have a phone, so this phone is a rectangle, right? So you can say hello with the phone. So the area of the phone is length times width, which sounds like hello. So perimeter is the sum of all sides. So instead of adding the length twice and the width twice, you can just say 2 length plus 2 width. So the units for area, it's always squared units. For example, centimeter squared, meter squared, inches squared, feet squared, yard squared, mile squared, millimeter squared. For perimeter, it's just length. You just say unit or length unit. So just unit. For example, meter, centimeter, no need to do squared, okay? Because there's no multiplication here. I will start with the first example. Calculate the area and the perimeter of the rectangles below. This rectangle has the length of 34 inch and the width of 12 inch. So area equals, you need to write the formula, length times width equals 34 times 12, so the answer is 408 inch square. You need to know that you shouldn't just give me the answer, because if you just give me the answer, if it's wrong, you're gonna get 0. But if you just write the formula and your answer is wrong, I'm gonna give you 1 mark for your formula. Then if you substitute the numbers, like you write instead of L 34 and instead of W 12, you just show your work, you get more marks. Then if the answer is wrong, you can get 2 out of 3, for example. Then perimeter is 2 length plus 2 width, so 2 times 34 plus 2 times 12, the answer is 92 inch. No need to write inch square. The second one, I have a table, so I want you to calculate the area and perimeter of the surface, the face of the table, the upside, okay? Upper side. So the length is 150 centimeters and the width is 80 centimeters. So area equals length times width equals 150 times 80 equals 12,000 centimeters square. Perimeter equals 2 length plus 2 width, which is 2 times 150 plus 2 times 80, so 460 centimeter. No need to write square. Okay, now I have a stadium, so let's say the length is 150 meters and the width is 90 meters, so area equals length times width, which is 150 times 90 equals 13,500 meters square. The perimeter, which is the sum of all sides around the stadium, P equals 2L plus 2W, which is 2 times 150 plus 2 times 90 equals 480 meters. You don't need to write squared. Okay, that's all about a rectangle. It's your turn now. Try to find the perimeter and area for the coming shape. Let's move now to squares. Every square has 4 sides. All the sides are congruent. All the angles are 90 degrees. So we will not call them length and width because they are congruent. They are the same. So we just say S, which is side. So area equals S power 2, which is squared, because instead of saying length times width, I would say S times S. So S times S is S power 2, which is S squared. Then the perimeter is S plus S plus S plus S. So you just say 4S. So multiply the side by 4. Example, you have a square here. Every side is 5 feet. So the area is S squared, which is 5 power 2, which is 25 feet power 2. Perimeter is 4S, which is 4 times 5, which is 20 feet. It's easy. Another example from your life. You have a square. Every side is 6 meters. So area equals S power 2, which is 6 power 2, which is 36 meters squared. And perimeter equals 4 times s, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, or 6 times 4, 24 meters. It's your turn now to answer the upcoming questions. Find the perimeter and the area for the figures. Let's move to triangles. Every triangle has 3 sides. We will call just the one of them is a base, and the height is the column, or like the perpendicular line drawn from the vertex on the opposite side. So we call it height. It's sometimes in the middle of it, sometimes to the left side, sometimes to the right side, but it's sometimes inside it, sometimes it's outside it. So the height is the line segment that matches between the vertex and the opposite side, but it's perpendicular on it, so the angle is 90 degrees. So the area is base times height divided by 2. So you will multiply both of them, the base and the height, and divide by 2. Or you write half times base times, it's up to you. And for the perimeter, you just add all the sides around. So the first example is the height, I gave it to you here, which is 9 inch, and the base is 12 inches. So the base is just this side down, okay? So area equals base times height divided by 2, which is 12 times 9 divided by 2. So the answer is 54 inches power 2. The second one, I just want you to calculate the perimeter. So the sides are 13 centi, 13 centi, 9 centimeters. So the sum of all sides, which is 13 plus 9. So 35 centimeter. You don't need to write square, just centimeter. It's your turn now. Try to find the area of the given triangles. Let's move to parallelograms. Parallelograms have 4 sides. Each 2 sides are parallel. That's why they call it parallelogram. Okay? So it has a base and a height. The height is always perpendicular on the base. So the angle is 90 degrees between the height and the base. So this is the height. So area equals base times height. And for perimeter, just add all the sides. Like I will add B plus A plus B plus A. Small letters, those sides, like CD plus CB plus BA plus AD. Okay, so just add the sides. Example, this parallelogram has a base of 12 and a height of 7. You just say area equals base times height equals 12 times 7, which is 84 unit squared, or squared unit. So squared unit means that if it was in inch, it would be inch squared. If it was in meter, it will be meter squared. That's why I said squared unit. The next example, find the area of this parallelogram. The base is 15 millimeters and the height is 6 millimeters. So area equals base times height, which is 15 times 6 equals 90 millimeter squared. It's your turn now. Try to find the area of the given parallelograms. Let's move to trapezoid. Trapezoids have 4 sides. Only 2 sides of them are parallel. The rest are not parallel. So that's why we call them base 1 and base 2. Generally and always, one of the bases is longer than the other one, but we don't call them length and width. We just call them base 1 and base 2. So the area is, between parentheses, base 1 plus base 2, you have to add them, then times the height, multiply by the height, then divide by 2. Or you say half times the sum of the bases times height. It looks like the area of a rectangle, but in the area of the rectangle we have half times base times height. Here, since you have 2 bases, please add them and put the answer inside a parenthesis. So it will be half times base 1 plus base 2, close the parenthesis, then times height. Regarding perimeter, just add all of the sides around. Let's do this example, solve this example. Let's solve this problem. Calculate the area of the trapezoid below. Here you have base number 2 is 8 centimeters and base number 1 is 14 centimeters and the height is 5 centimeters. So I will add both bases, so 14 plus 8, then time the height, then divide by 2. So 14 plus 8 is 22 times 5 divided by 2. So the answer is 55 centimeters squared. It's your turn now. Try to find the area of the given trapezoids. Let's move now to circles. For circles, you don't have length and width, right? You have a radius, which is the distance between the circumference around the circle and the center. So we will call it radius. And we have a diameter, which is the line segment that matches between two opposite points in a circle, but it must pass through the center. So we call that diameter. Diameter is d, radius is r. Always the diameter is double than the radius. Or if you have the diameter and you want the radius, just divide it by 2. So for example, if the diameter is 10 centimeters, that means the radius is 5 centimeters. If the radius is 7 meters, that means the diameter is 14 meters. It's always double. The area of the circle is pi times r power 2. Here pi is 3.14. Then multiply it by r squared. Regarding the perimeter, we don't call it perimeter in circles. We give it another name. It's called circumference, so which is 2 pi r, or 2 times 3.14 times the radius. Since 2 times r is the diameter, so you can just say pi times d. You don't need to say 2. So either, if I give you in the example the diameter, or the question, if I give you the diameter, just multiply it by pi. If I give you the radius, multiply it by 2 pi. Okay, so either you say 2 times pi times r, or you say pi times d. Example, here I gave you the radius, so the area is pi times r power 2, which is 3.14 times 6 power 2. 6 power 2 is not 12, it's 36. So the answer is 113.04 meter square. For circumference, 2 pi r, I don't use pi d because I don't have the diameter here, I have the radius. 2 times 3.14 times the radius, 37.68 meters. Another example, here I gave you the diameter, which is 6.2 millimeters. So the area is pi times r power 2. Here I need to find the radius. The radius is half the diameter. So since the diameter is 6.2, the radius would be 3.1. So the area is 3.14 times 3.1 power 2. From where did I get 3.1 again? It's half of the diameter. So the answer is 30.1754 millimeter square. The circumference. Since I have the diameter here, I don't need to use 2 pi r. I would use pi times d. So 3.14 times 6.2, which is the diameter. The answer is 19.469 millimeter square. It's your turn now. Try to find the circumference and the area for the upcoming figures.